I know Don mentioned that your character was sort of an amalgam of many different journalists that Miles had encountered. So what was sort of your initial conversation on who this person was and how you would sort of capture him?
Our first conversations really were about where he was from. Don was he wanted me to play him in my own accent and make him a real outsider, if you like, from Scotland. And my feelings were that he should be American, or I read him more as an American character. But I think I was afraid of feeling too much like the outsider, like in this super cool world of jazz cats. To be a Scottish character might just be too weird. Like, what's he doing there? But the more we talked about it, and the more I thought about New York and New York being the melting pot that it's always been. And especially in that time in the late 70s, early 80s, like there would be no reason to assume that he should be from anywhere. He could be from anywhere, so.
Yeah. How much did you know about sort of this period of Miles's life where he was very reclusive and?
Not very much. I mean, I think I might have known that he disappeared from music for a while, but I'd never read any books about Miles, or I didn't know very much about him other than being very familiar with some of his music, some of the earlier stuff, I suppose, the kind of Blue or Sketches of Spain, and then there's last two albums for some reason I know quite well, the ones that he made outside of Columbia Records. But the bulk of his life I knew nothing about, really. I mean, obviously there's some very iconic photographs been taken of him, and so I've seen those pictures all my life. So
yeah.
I knew that he played with his back to the audience for some of his life. I knew that. So I had sort of an idea of, I had some sort of idea about what he might have been like, and maybe that he was a difficult person or something. It's an odd thing to do, to play with people that pay to come and see your music. It's kind of and I knew that he was this one of the coolest men,
Yeah. How was it collaborating with Don, both in terms of knowing that he was in charge of this, whole production, and then you were doing so many scenes with him?
I think it's an exciting place to be, standing next to somebody who's co-written the script, who's co-produced the script, who's got to the point where he's having the film made, and is playing this iconic character and also directing. I just think it was exciting to be part of all that and to be there with him, and I felt completely at ease with him because we were in it together. I felt like his direction was great. He led the crew, he led the cast. There was a sense of him knowing exactly what he was after. So we were in really safe hands. I knew that long before we hit the set, I think.